Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. My name is Ryan Buck, and in this tutorial we are going to be going over the Design Staff Hour Estimation Form, tab 24, Lighting Plans. A updated version of the Staff Hour Estimation Forms was released in September of 2023, and this is the version 2023 version for tab 24 of the lighting plans. As you can see, it's in the new calculator form, and I'm going to go over the new calculator form here. It looks similar as far as filling out the information at the top, and over to the right is a how to use this form. Here's a link to a library of all the video tutorials, including this one, as well as some information on how to use the form. I'll be going over that in the video tutorial as well. My contact information is down here at the bottom right. Please feel free to reach out and contact me if you have any questions, if you find any errors in the form, or if you have any comments or suggestions on how we can improve the forms for your use. Please reach out and let me know. All right, so let's get in and go over how to use this form. So it's in the new version, and what we're going to do with this form is enter in some project parameters and tell the form a little bit about the project based on the scope. And it will calculate hours based on the parameters entered, as well as complexity entered, if that's a factor, based on the established staff hour guidelines. And these guidelines are established and posted in a spreadsheet on the Scope and Staff Hours website right next to the link to download this form. And so you can go there and reference each line item and the established guidelines for each task in section 24. The department and the consultant will then have to evaluate the calculated number based on the guidelines and determine if it is appropriate for their specific project. If it is, they can enter in those under their estimate. There's a column for the department estimate, a column for the consultant estimate. There's also a column for the final negotiated staff hours. And those will go over to the summary tab so we can distribute to procuring the contract. There's also a documentation column for any and all documentation needed for each line item. So the calculated version is based on the guidelines, and it's a recommended starting point to start negotiations. It will be up to the department and the consultant to determine the appropriate amount of hours and effort it will take for that task for that specific project. So let's get started. We'll go line item by line item. 24.1 is the key sheet and the signature sheet. So how it works is you'll click on the cell and you can see any of the cells in the red font are meant to have some kind of user input. Anything in black is either text or a calculation equation that's not meant to be edited. So if we click on the cell with the red for the key sheet, it'll ask us a pop-up question: is a key sheet required? 1 is equal to yes, and a 0 is equal to no. So if we do have a key sheet, we would enter in 1. It will not allow you to enter in anything else other than 1 or 0. You'll get an error message. And it'll suggest 4 hours for a key sheet for the lighting plans. If a signature sheet is required, you would do a 1 for a yes or a 0 for a no. We'll say 1, yes, 0, no. It does tell us that if the key sheet is not required, then no hours will be given for a signature sheet. So if you had a 0 up here and tried to enter in the signature sheet, you wouldn't get any hours. You have to have a key sheet in order to get hours for the signature sheet. Task 24.2 is the general notes and pay item notes sheet. If you have that on your project, it's again a yes or a no, 1 or a 0. We'll say we have a note sheet, and then it asks you in this red text, there's a drop down, what is the estimated complexity of the general notes and the pay item note sheets. So you hit the drop down and it's got simple, standard, or complex. And it's asking you the complexity, so if it didn't have a whole lot of notes or they were very generic and copied and pasted, it'd probably be a simple. If there was a lot of notes and they were very unique to the project and took quite some effort to uh, type up, it'd probably be a more complex. We'll just put simple just to show you how it works. I recommend 6 hours in our estimate. 24.3 is poll data and legend and criteria. So it's looking for polls. So in this case, it's the estimated number of polls to be placed in the poll data schedule. We'll just put in 60 and it will recommend a number. These are light polls. 24.4 is the project layout sheet. So it's a project layout sheet required, yes or no. Should be used only when necessary for large projects, spaced out projects. It's a yes or no, 1 or 0. We'll say we do not need a project layout sheet, so we'll leave it at 0, and it will recommend 0 hours for this example. 24.5, the plan sheet is for corridor projects right here. It's based in length in miles. So if you can see there, it asks for up to 2 decimal places. That's asking for length of the project to be shown on the plan sheet. So total length includes ramp and crossroad lengths, as well as all intersections, mid-block crossings, or similar lighting applications within the corridor. So we'll say we have a 2.5 mile corridor, and it'll recommend hours. Now, if you have isolated locations, such as intersections, mid-block crosses, you're just doing kind of an isolated project, or interchanges or rest areas. So let's just say we're doing some intersections. Say we have 6 intersections, and then we have, let's say we do 2 interchanges. All right, and it'll recommend the hours. Now, if you don't have any, you'd leave it at 0. 24.6 is special details. So this is where any lighting details that you'd have. As you can see, there's different types of details you might have. You could have simple details, you could have standard details, or you can have complex details. If you click on the pop-up box, it should define what it means by simple, standard, or complex. You can also find them in the guidelines. So estimated number of details that require no engineering, so minor details, manufactured or FDOT provided details. Let's just say we had 2 of those for this project. Standard would be engineering analysis required must be created. Let's just say we had 4 details that we needed to create. And complex would be under deck lighting details based on new technologies. Let's just say we had 1 of those. And it would recommend hours for each detail, be it simple details, standard details, or complex details. 24.7 is service point details, and it works just like the special details did. So the estimated number of retrofit or modified service point details, say we have 2. Standard would be new service points for conventional lighting to be shown in the plans. So we have 2. And then complex would be new service points for high mass lighting. So we have 1 of those. All right. And it's recommending giving our estimate. And then 24.8, any temporary highway lighting required. 1 is yes, 0 is no. There's also a note in here, include plans, notes, and details. And the requirement for temporary highway lighting is unique and requires independent notification. So typically this effort is between 16 to 48 hours to complete. All right. And then we choose the task complexity. Is it simple, standard, or complex? Right? And yeah, so that would give us our estimate, and then we have to analyze the calculated value and determine if we agree with it, if it's too high and we need to lower it, or if it's too low and we need to increase the effort for that project. And then the department and consultant would negotiate the final hours. 24.9 and 2410 is QA/QC and supervision. The default on this is QA/QC for the lighting plans required, and is supervision yes or no. It's default as yes. You can put a 0 in there and it will give 0 hours and 0 it out. It is based on 5%, so it's calculating 5% of the subtotal across the board. You do not have to use 5% if you want to use 3%, 7%. I would document it over here, and you can override that right here. So you could put 7%. You could manually calculate what 7% of 261 is, and then you could enter it in right here over the thing, 16 hours. All right. Then you have your technical subtotal, and that will carry over to your summary sheet where you can distribute the hours. Again, my name's Ryan Buck. Here's my contact information. Feel free to contact me with any questions. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Thanks for watching.